Coming up, we'll get you back in the swing of hoop season with a recap of some of the region's best holiday action.
In our one-on-one feature, we'll profile one of the most prolific scorers in South Dakota, Anna Brecht. She talks about her game and her college decision.
All that plus some unseasonably loud thunder highlights this week's basketball forecast. Varsity Sports starts right now. And hello and welcome to Varsity Sports alongside Jason Andera. I am Jay Elson. Before we get started tonight, we want to take a second to celebrate, not the new year, but the 200th episode of Varsity Sports. That's right, you're part of history, folks. What a night for us.
It'll
200 episodes. Seriously, though, thanks to the fans, coaches, players, and parents who have supported this thing from the beginning.
Yeah, you're right, Jay. This is now the 5th season of this show. We're actually the first show on Midco Sports Network to have a weekly show, so glad they've kept us around this long, and I hope we can continue to bring you some great coverage of high school sports right here in the Dakotas. Here's to another 200, Jay.
Well, why stop there? Let's go to 500.
Why not? Let's just keep rolling.
All right. Well, with that, let's waste no more time.
Yeah,
one at a time. And let's get into our weekly high school hoops headlines now. We start with some huge news out of Fargo. The Shanley Girls saw their incredible streak of 76 straight wins come to an end at the hands of their former head coach. That's right. Tim Jacobson led his new team, Fargo Davies, to a 45-41 win on the Deacons' home floor Tuesday night.
Shanley is a great team. Steve does a great job. Emily out there working so hard, and Sierra and the rest of them. They deserve all the credit. Think about that, 76 wins in a row. What a great job they did. Nobody in my lifetime will probably ever do that again, and I applaud them 1,000%. But tonight our girls, they did something we haven't done all year. We played defense, and we played it very well, and we played hard down the stretch, and that was big. That was real big for us.
More news out of North Dakota. Anand Moody scored 47 points on Tuesday night in just 18 minutes of action. Those 47 points, by the way, give him 1577 for his career. That makes him number one all-time at Dickinson, passing Joe Hanstead. Congratulations, Mr. Moody.
It's a pretty impressive mark, and he's only going to make it bigger, obviously, pretty early in the season. All right, well, there are always a lot of good holiday classics in the Dakotas, and one of the best is the annual Parkston Classic. Black Geddes Haley Halleck had one of the highlights of the day. She sinks this three-quarter court shot to force overtime against T-Area, and her team would go on to get a 59-55 win. What a shot.
Crazy stuff there. The Parkston Classic also featured a couple of the best players going head-to-head. Maya Sellen's Sanborn Central Woonsocket team took on Morgan Kepsel's McCook Central Cougars. Both teams came in ranked and unbeaten, but it was the Blackhawks who prevailed 54-44. Sellen led all scorers on the day with 25. She looked pretty good.
Yeah, she's pretty good. All right, well, the highly anticipated nightcap of the Classic would not disappoint either. Ethan and Sully Buttes, who had met in the last two State B title games, renewed their rivalry on Friday night. The game was tied at 51 at the end of regulation before Ethan sewed it up in OT, 59-53. Carly Gustafson led the Rustlers with 19 points, while Sully Buttes' dynamic duo of Raquel Winchus and Chloe Lamb combined for 39.
Well, that was a fun classic, but so was the Mike Miller Classic. This thing has grown in magnitude over the years, and this event brings the top talent from across the nation to play against some of the top teams in the area at the Pentagon and the Corn Palace. We had some high-flying basketball fun as usual. Future stars from St. Anthony in Texas, La Lumiere in Indiana, and the IMG Academy in Florida tested area teams. Let's look at some of the results, and as you can see, these national teams did pretty well.
Usually do.
Yeah, there'll be a rebroadcast of a couple of these games. Go to midcosn.com to check the upcoming times for this battle.
Always fun to see the athleticism that's on
so
display in that event. All right, well, we are just getting started here, folks. Coming up, we go one-on-one with one of South Dakota's most prolific scorers, Anna Brecht, will let us know what it's like to have a mom and a sister as basketball mentors. That's coming up next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Mitchell Technical Institute and Farmers Union Insurance Agency.
You're watching Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network.
Welcome back. Well, this is Matt Daly's fourth season as head coach of Sioux Falls Lincoln, and to this point, he's had Brecht lead his team in scoring. First Ellie for 2 years, and now Anna last year. And the way Anna's senior season is going, looks almost certain that Dale will make it 4 for 4. There are only a handful of players in the state who can take over a game by putting the ball in the hoop. Anna Brecht is definitely one of those players. She's been a scoring machine since she stepped on the court as a freshman at Sioux Falls Lincoln.
You don't see athletes come in as freshmen and drop 25 points in their first game, and to have that kind of confidence in yourself and that kind of poise and focus from that age is just special.
Last season as a junior, Anna led the class in scoring at 23 points per game, and she's even stepped up that pace as a senior. She entered the new year just 82 points shy of the Lincoln school record for career points. Accumulating all that scoring is nice, but she's a team player at heart.
Scoring is really fun, but just like that's so fun for me when we work as a team and just really click as a team. That's one of the coolest things I think during games. It just gets you really pumped up and kind of working together with a lot of chemistry.
Anna's basketball heritage started with some strong family basketball roots. Her mom, Amy Mickelson, is in the South Dakota Basketball Hall of Fame and went on to start the University of Washington.
So she's really competitive too, and that's just her nature. And she's pushed me so hard, like throughout my whole career. And honestly, I would not be where I am without her pushing me this hard. And so having that special relationship with someone who really, really knows the game well, that's been important in my career.
Her sister Ellie was teammates with Anna at Lincoln for 2 years and now plays for Omaha in the Summit League.
She's such a leader, and she was always the leader of this team as long as when the 2 years that I was on it, my freshman and sophomore year. And so it was way different just not really having her to look to kind of. And so it kind of helped me develop as a player and a person. I feel like just trying to become a leader in my own way.
While having great basketball mentors to look up to definitely helps, she has a lot more than that going for her.
Well, she's a special athlete that where work ethic and genetics and a great attitude just all come together.
That synthesis of skill caught the attention of college scouts at an early age. Anna knew she wanted to play basketball at the next level and started parsing through her options. She drew interest from South Dakota and South Dakota State, and she strongly considered reuniting with her sister at Omaha as well.
I thought that would have been so cool just to get to play my college career with my sister. But in the end, I kind of wanted to branch off again and continue to grow myself and build my own memories and basketball career. And so it would have been cool, but I went the other route.
The other route? Wisconsin Green Bay, one of the most successful women's college basketball programs in the country.
Honestly, just the people there, the coaches, it was so different. Even the players, I felt connected right away, and the coaches, they recruited me the hardest. I felt really wanted there, and also having that plus a great program that they have, it just all added up to be my dream school, the perfect school for me.
But before she heads off to college, she has some unfinished business at Lincoln. Last season, the Patriots' season ended before the state tournament, a scenario that she doesn't want to see happen again.
Obviously, that's just a goal of ours. We just really want to chase that state championship. First, we got to make it to state, though. So that's the main goal of ours, just to get there and do all we can to get there.
All right, Jason, let's take a look at the numbers. And once again, Anna dominating on the offensive end.
Yeah, that offensive stat line is always so stuffed with Anna Brecht. Over 25 points per game on almost every night. She also is getting into the picture with her assists. Her three-point shooting is very good. We talk about this with all these people we do features on, is their versatility. Anna Brecht definitely belongs in that conversation and one of the most versatile players in the state.
All right, well, next year at Green Bay, head coach Kevin Borseth looking forward to adding Brecht to his roster. And here's what he had to say about her on the school's website. And this is a quote: "Anna is a scorer. Her range stretches defenses. But what caught my eye initially about Anna was her desire to be a post-up player first. Anna also has good length as a guard, runs the floor extremely well, and does not take plays off. When she's out there, you know what you're getting, that you're getting every ounce of energy she has. This mentality complements our style and makes her a great fit for Green Bay, end quote.
Yes, well, Green Bay is getting the best offensive player in the state of South Dakota, in my opinion, and she has the potential to be a very good defensive player as well. I did ask Anna, what's the one thing you need to work on before going to play at that college level, and she said it's defense, and I think most people agree. She has to get a little better defensively. Right now, her mindset is offense, and I think it's really a mindset thing. It's not a physical thing. She can do all the physical things you need on defense, but once she gets more players surrounding her that can score at the college level, I think it'll be easier for her to play defense from the mindset that she needs to.
And there aren't a lot of players coming straight out of high school that are great defenders, or at least going to transition as great defenders
really
to the college level, especially the Division I level.
So true.
She's not alone in that regard. All right, well, good stuff. And by the way, Anna had 28 points again last night, now just 55 shy of Lincoln's school scoring record. Steph Schooler holds that currently. She did it from 1983 to 86, so it's been around a while. So obviously, though, just a matter of time before Anna Brecht becomes the new scoring leader at Sioux Falls Lincoln. All right, well, it may be unbearably cold outside, but we've got thunder in the forecast. That's right, a host of high-flying dunks highlights this week's high school hoops forecast when we come back. Well, when you live in the Dakotas, you get used to a wide-ranging forecast, and it turns out that's as true for basketball as it is for the weather. Here's Jandy again to walk us through this week's high school hoops happenings.
Thanks, Jay. Time for the basketball forecast once again, and we got to get started with our heat maps. The guy that's heating up North Dakota right now, Anand Moody. His point totals are going through the roof so far this year. He started out the season with a 44-point performance to get things started against Turtle Mountain, and it has just gone up from there. 16 was his low against Minot, and as you see, a 33-point, a 28, a 32, and a 45-point performance against Rapid City Central last week. That adds up to 198 points. He is averaging 33 points per game to start the season. This guy is ripping it up. All right, let's move on to the favorite part of the basketball forecast. That is the Thunder Report. This is when we get to see all the great dunks that we've seen in the Dakotas. And let's start at the Mike Miller Classic. This is St. Anthony out of Texas. This is Isaiah Science off the glass to Charles Bassey. Remember that name? This guy is going places. Now let's move on to Lalamere, and Tiger Campbell dishes it to Jaron Jackson. He dishes it to Jacob Epperson, who gets the finish. More Tiger. Oh, look at that, the one-handed floater to Brian Bowen, who puts down the flush. Now it's time for some open court dunking. Jordan Poole showing some power. Franklin Agunan, just get out of his way. There's no stopping this guy. And now let's move to the IMG Academy out of Florida. This is Emmett Williams. Is that legal? Can you hang? No, I don't think that's legal, but it's fun to watch. So is this windmill. Emmett Williams putting on a show, dunk after dunk after dunk. And the Thunder Report is complete with a great performance from area teams. Now remember, this isn't just for national teams around the area. This is for you guys. If you've got a great dunk that you see at a game in North Dakota or South Dakota, hashtag it. Include me in on a Twitter feed. However you want to let me know about it, let me know, and we'll include you on the Thunder Report. All right, let's take a look at the big planner. This week's games, we've got some good ones, and as you see, the percentages of chance to win are all relatively close. We've got a close one coming up on Friday between Dickinson and Legacy. That's a 71% chance for Dickinson to win, but both teams come in with just one loss in conference. That's the biggest margin of victory of any of these games of the week. Looking forward also for Rapid City Stevens to come across the state and play Sioux Falls O'Gorman on Friday. O'Gorman with a 60% chance to win that one. Also on Friday night, Madison taking on T Area. And if you remember, football fans, these two teams played against each other for a title in 11A this year in South Dakota. I think T's going to be looking for a little revenge on the basketball court here with a 55% chance to win. On Saturday, Brookings taking on Huron. They've already played once this year. They played to a 2-point game, so it's anybody's guess on this one, a 50-50 chance. And at the end of the week, you see Grand Forks Red River, 65% chance to stay undefeated.
Yeah, a lot of good games coming up in the next 7 days, and there are even a few more that you left off your planner.
Yeah, we saved some of the best games for our Pick'em segment, which is coming up later in the show.
All right, looking forward to that. But first, only a couple unbeaten teams left in South Dakota Class AA. Are they for real? Find out what Jandy thinks when we run the fast break next. And welcome back to Varsity Sports. Time now to run the break. And here's how it's going to work, Jason. We've got our handy little shot clock here. Okay. If Jandy doesn't answer the question in the allotted time, he gets a violation. If he gets 3 violations, he's kicked off the show forever.
Sounds a little harsh, Jay.
I can't even.
Forever?
Well, maybe not. We'll negotiate. Anyway, we're going to go class by class here, get some of the biggest questions answered. First question, here we go. South Dakota AA boys, Brookings and Sturgis, the only remaining unbeaten teams. How good are they?
Well, Sturgis, they had a nice win to start off the season against Aberdeen. That was good, but they haven't played any other AA teams in that. So 4-0 record, we'll wait and see on Sturgis. Brookings, on the other hand, maybe a little bit more legit. They beat a good Huron team, and they just picked up a nice road win against Harrisburg. I know Harrisburg is not won a game yet, but it's still a nice road win. Still haven't beaten a team that's over 500 other than these, so I think it may be a little early to include them in the elite bracket, but we'll keep an eye on both teams.
No violation. Good for you. All right, Class A now. Vermilion off to an 8-0 start. What's been the key to the Tanagers' early season success?
Well, I did have a chance to talk to Jay Drake, the head coach at Vermilion, and he said, of course, they've been playing good defense, cut down on turnovers, making their free throws on the stretch, all good things. It sounds like the ingredients for a winning team, but I think it has a little bit to do with A.J. Plitzawhite, who's scoring 24 points per game through the first 8 games. So that helps a lot to go along with Cooper Williams, Riley Peters, a couple of guys who are already in double digits. I know they're going to have some tough upcoming games. I think the Tanagers are out to a great start.
Yeah, they look pretty good. All right, Class B now. A lot of good teams here. Which one is not getting enough attention?
I'll tell you what, Bridgewater Emory, I think they have really handed my preseason number 1 team, Chester, their worst loss of the year. A nice win against them, a 20-point win against Canastota. They took care of Sanborn Central Woonsocket last night. All their wins so far against teams who are 500 or better, and they've been crushing them. They need a little more pub. These Huskies are playing some good ball. Sawyer Schultz, by the way, very athletic. He sunk 5 3-pointers on Tuesday night, so I think they're going to do some damage in this class. They need a little more pub.
I think we need to take away some time here. You're making this too easy.
I'm doing it good.
All right, North Dakota Class A now. Minot, Davies off the perfect starts. Then there's a pack of good one-loss teams. Which one of those is the best?
This was a tough decision. I thought Dickinson was going into the season, but I think it's Century now. I know Dickinson and Century both played Minot tough, and if you compare another common opponent in Bismarck, it does look like Century is probably the better team here. I think maybe Dickinson gives them more trouble, Minot more trouble in the future, but right now you can't look past Century. And then on the east side, don't forget about West Fargo and Fargo North. 2 good one-loss teams. They've got some tests coming up in the next few days too, but right now I think Century is that next team looking to move up.
All right, finally 4 wins has put some good teams together over the past few seasons. We all have seen how successful they've been, but how do they compare to this year's team?
That's a good question, Jay. They've, like you said, have had some really good teams over the past few years. Jason Feather leading the way a couple years ago, last year, by the way, just the 1 loss, and then went all the way winning the state championship. That is definitely a good team. But I think actually their 14-15 team may have been more talented. They did run into a tough rugby team in the championship games, which made it tough. That was a really deep team led by Trayvon McKay. But this year's team with Tronas McKay leading the way, I think the confidence is sky high. The athleticism's all over the board. And look what they did against Dickinson Trinity, a top-ranked team. Beat them by almost 30 points, and I didn't quite hit the violation. I got 1 violation, Jay,
well, you're
but
safe,
I have
then.
to finish my thought. I think this is maybe the best team they've had over the past few years. These 4 wins Minnewacan Indians are looking good.
And that's saying something, because they've been awfully good. And obviously last year they put it all together, but seemed like they're certainly poised to maybe make a pretty deep run once again. All right.
I agree.
Well, good stuff. As you said, just 1 violation, so you're safe for at least 1 more week. We'll see if you can last the entire season. All right, folks, stay tuned. The rivalry is about to resume. Jason and I are going to make our picks for some of this week's top matchups next.
Varsity Sports on Midco Sports Network is presented by Mitchell Technical Institute and Farmers Union Insurance Agency.
All right, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, or at least the moment we've all been waiting for, as in Jandy and I.
I've definitely been waiting.
The first round of high school hoops pick'em for this season. It's exciting time here. You know how it works at this point. 1 point per pick, 2 if we get our bonus picks right, or our upset picks right, rather. And
revenge time for me.
Yeah.
This guy took the football crown.
Title right here.
Focus, laser
I'm going
focus.
to try and complete the season sweep. Anyway, let's get into it. North Dakota girls basketball, a good one here. Wahpeton at Davies.
Yeah, Wahpeton has had a good season so far, but not quite the strength of schedule that Davies has. I just worry, are they going to come off of this win against Shanley on the right note or the wrong note? I still think Davies is a better team. Give me Fargo Davies.
Yeah, I like Davies as well. 2-point loss to Red River, the only loss to an in-state team to this point. They're coming off the win over Shanley. A little always worried in a situation like that about maybe a letdown. I don't think it happens here, though. I think Davies gets the win. Class A boys basketball, North Dakota, West Fargo, and West Fargo Cheyenne.
I tell you what, West Fargo Cheyenne, I think they've got a problem for West Fargo. His name is Colin Trottier, and I think he is going to be tough to stop for the Packers. Give me the hometown Cheyenne Mustangs.
The hometown in West Fargo, huh?
Jim.
You know, Trottier, great. Joe Pastori, 25 a game, fourth in the EDC in scoring. The Packers have the top scoring offense in the conference at just under 79 points a game. I think the Packers get the win on the road. AA boys in South Dakota, Washington, and O'Gorman.
I'll tell you what, O'Gorman's come out of the chute on fire. They are filling it up with their two big guys down low. I think they get it done against Washington, who's still trying to put some pieces together. This might be different later in the season, but right now I got O'Gorman.
Washington narrowly beat a couple of Class A teams. Good ones, but still Class A teams. Knights with a good win over Brandon Valley. I like where they're at a little bit more right now, so I'm going to go O'Gorman as well. South Dakota girls basketball, Brandon Valley and Harrisburg. They already met once this season, and it was a good one.
The Lynx are legit. They are a good AA team right now, but Harrisburg is a little better. They've got more talent. Jen Ugoski has been unbelievable. I think the Tigers get one.
Yeah, since that loss to Brandon Valley to open the season, they went on the road and won at Aberdeen. We all know what kind of challenge that is. That's a big-time win. Also beat O'Gorman, so I like Harrisburg to avenge that early loss as well. Upset pick.
I'm going to go to the North Dakota girls basketball. Our Redeemers, 2 losses already in the season, but they get one here against Shiloh Christian.
I like the Huron boys over Brookings. Bobcats haven't lost this year. They beat the Tigers 35-33 in Brookings on December 20th, but I think Huron gets it back on their home floor. So
all right, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, for Jason Andera, I'm Jay Elson. Enjoy the games, everybody. We'll see you back here next week.